Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's story is called No One is Innocent. While some stories are meant to be finished, others are meant to be felt. So get comfortable, relax, and let's begin. The rain slams against the window pane, the streetlights flicker, and a figure stumbles into the shadows. A scream cuts through the night, sharp and desperate, but there's no one around to hear it. Somewhere, someone is watching, and they've been waiting for you. In a city where everyone has secrets, one mistake can make the difference between life and death. Welcome to a story where no one is innocent, and trust is the deadliest gamble. The rain had been falling for hours, drumming a relentless rhythm on the city streets. Neon signs reflected in the puddles like shards of broken glass and chaotic colors on the wet asphalt. Mara Jennings pulled her coat tighter, the chill seeping into her bones. Normally, she would have stayed inside, sipping tea and scrolling through meaningless social media, but tonight, something felt off. The envelope had been there for hours when she returned from work, slipped quietly under her door. Cream-colored, heavy paper, unmarked except for her name scrawled in unfamiliar handwriting. She stared at it for a long moment, a prickle of unease crawling up her neck. Inside, a single sheet of paper read, "You are invited. One night, one location, one chance. 12 Willow Street, 9 p.m. Be on time." No signature, no explanation. Just an address in the old industrial district where warehouses had long since been abandoned and rumors of crime ran thicker than the fog that hugged the city streets. Mara debated ignoring it. Maybe it was a prank, maybe a trap. But something inside her, fear, curiosity, destiny, pushed her to go. By 8:55, she was at the building. Rusted metal gates groaned as she pushed them open. The air smelled of mildew and wet concrete. She hesitated, then stepped inside. The interior was dimly lit, shadows pooling in corners. Figures moved at the edge of her vision, but every time she turned, there was nothing. Then the party began. Not music, not laughter, but voices, soft at first, growing louder, echoing in the cavernous room. She met 4 people almost immediately. Daniel, a journalist whose charm barely concealed his obsession with uncovering scandal. Lila, a scientist, intense, with eyes that seemed to measure everyone around her. Victor, a politician whose confident smile hinted at 1,000 secrets. Sophie, a young woman who appeared to know far too much, watching Mara with unnerving focus. Their greetings were polite, but their words were layered, each syllable suggesting hidden motives. Mara tried to gauge their intentions, but the room seemed to blur around her. Then, darkness. The lights cut out, plunging the room into black. A scream shattered the tense quiet. Then another. Panic surged. When the lights flickered back on, one of the strangers was gone. Only a message remained, projected across the wall in glowing red letters. "Choose wisely, or it ends tonight." Mara's pulse raced. Every instinct screamed to leave, but the exit doors were locked. She turned, searching for another way, and felt a shadow brush against her back. "You shouldn't have come." The voice was soft, intimate, yet threatening. Mara froze, heart pounding. Whoever or whatever was here, they had been waiting. She scanned the room. Daniel's face was pale, his jaw tight. Lila's hands twitched nervously. Victor's smile had disappeared, replaced by a tense stiffness. Sophie simply watched, a faint smirk on her lips. Suddenly a metallic click. Mara's hand trembled as a cold object pressed into her side. The room seemed to shrink, shadows closing in like fingers ready to squeeze. And then, silence, except for the sound of her own heartbeat. Mara's eyes snapped open to dim gray light. She was no longer in the party room. She was sitting in a cold, damp basement, chains biting into her wrists. Her head throbbed, each pulse matching the metallic clink of chains when she moved. Daniel was there, slumped against the far wall. His face was pale, his hands shaking. "We're part of something bigger," he whispered, voice trembling. "And if we don't play along, we die." Mara swallowed hard. What? What is this? Who's doing this? From the shadows, a figure emerged. Masked, tall, and impossibly still, he moved with the certainty of someone who had done this before. Mara's stomach twisted. "Call me the Watcher," the figure said, voice smooth and unyielding. "You've all been chosen. Each of you carries secrets that can destroy lives. Tonight, you play a game, reveal the truth, or disappear." He gestured to the others, now waking from similar disorientation. Panic clawed at Mara's chest. Daniel's eyes darted around. I leaked files. They could ruin careers. I didn't mean harm." Lila's expression hardened. "I've conducted experiments. Experiments. They shouldn't exist." Victor's confident smile faltered. "I've taken funds I shouldn't have. I lied. Sophie's gaze never wavered. "I know everything about everyone here. That's all you need to know." The Watcher stepped closer. "Tonight, someone pays. Someone will vanish, and the rest will live with the consequences of their secrets." Mara's stomach sank. Each heartbeat felt like a drum signaling the start of a battle she hadn't agreed to fight. The lights flickered violently. Lila screamed, but her chair was empty. A shadow passed over Mara, brushing against her face. A whisper hissed. "Next is you." Mara forced herself to stand, legs shaking, chains scraping against the cold concrete floor. Daniel followed, equally pale but determined. The basement opened to a labyrinth of corridors, hallways that twisted and turned in ways that made no logical sense. Doors led to empty walls, stairs ended in midair, and every shadow seemed to move with intent. They weren't alone. Victor emerged from around a corner, gun drawn. Mara's pulse raced. "Trust me," he said. "I can get us out." Mara hesitated but had no better option. She followed him up a narrow staircase, Daniel at her side. Suddenly, Sophie appeared, her presence both a warning and a threat. "You think you're escaping? No one leaves here innocent," she said. Before they could react, an explosion shook the building, sending dust and debris into the hallway. Mara stumbled, her hand scraping against the wall. When she turned, Daniel's face was white as a sheet. Sophie had vanished, leaving behind a slip of paper pinned to the wall. "One lie will end you." Mara's chest tightened. The walls seemed to breathe, pulsing with some unseen force. Every step felt like walking through a nightmare. And then, click. The unmistakable sound of a gun being cocked. Mara froze, realizing she was not alone. "Time's up, Mara." Mara's hands shook as she was dragged into a new room. The air smelled of damp concrete and old machinery. A single, flickering light bulb hung from the ceiling. Mirrors covered the walls, stretching from floor to ceiling, each reflecting her image 1,000 times. "Welcome to your first trial." The Watcher's voice echoed from hidden speakers, cold and omnipresent. "Confront your fears, reveal your secrets, or vanish." Mara's reflection didn't just mirror her, it whispered. In every pane, a different version of her stared back. The one who lied to friends, the one who betrayed colleagues, the one who never admitted her darkest thoughts. Panic clawed at her chest. I can't let them see," she thought, heart hammering. But the mirrors were relentless, exposing every hidden flaw. Lila appeared suddenly, calm but intense. "We have to work together, or he wins. No one can survive alone." Together, They navigated the room, moving cautiously. Every step triggered faint clicks beneath their feet. Mara realized the mirrors weren't just reflective. They were sensors. Every lie, hesitation, and misstep could have deadly consequences. The room's ceiling began to descend slowly, a silent threat. Mara swallowed, forcing herself to admit truths she had buried for years. She confessed mistakes to Lila, mistakes she never imagined anyone could know. The ceiling stopped mere inches from crushing them. Then, through the mirrors, Mara saw cameras, small, black, blinking lenses, tracking every movement. Their lives, every expression, broadcast somewhere unknown. A voice, unfamiliar and cold, boomed through the speakers. Two will survive, the rest will vanish. Choose your ally carefully. The tension had become unbearable. Every decision felt fatal. Mara and Lila formed a fragile alliance, knowing they couldn't trust anyone else, including themselves. The corridors now twisted like a maze. Doors leading to rooms with hidden traps, collapsing floors, swinging blades, walls slowly closing in. One wrong step, one hesitation, and death could come in an instant. Victor reappeared, wounded and unsteady. His eyes darted with fear. It's all fake. Or maybe it's not. I don't know who to trust anymore, he admitted. Mara's mind raced. Could Victor be trusted? Could Daniel, who had vanished into the chaos, still be alive? She felt the weight of Sophie's warning echo in her memory. One lie will kill you. Decoding Sophie's cryptic messages became their only way to navigate the maze safely. Each clue came with a cost, revealing a personal secret. Mara hesitated, knowing the truth could destroy her career, her relationships, everything she'd worked for. Lila urged her on. We can't overthink it. Every second counts. They followed the final message through a narrow stairwell. Dust fell from the ceiling as they descended, the building groaning ominously. Suddenly, a scream echoed from above. Mara's blood ran cold. Daniel. Panic surged. Mara ran toward the sound, but the stairwell ended abruptly. The floor beneath her feet trembled, as if warning her not to proceed. She turned back, only to find a wall of smoke and shadows blocking the way. Through the smoke, a shape emerged. Daniel, or someone who looked like him, stood holding a gun, eyes cold, lips curved into a grim smile. You shouldn't have come this far, he said. Mara's vision swam as a sharp pain hit her shoulder. Her legs gave out and she collapsed to the floor. The air around her smelled faintly metallic and the world tilted dangerously. Sleep until it's your turn, a hissed voice echoed, and darkness swallowed her whole. When she awoke, the room was clinical, stark, and sterile. White walls stretched in every direction, and faint fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Her arms were restrained, but the chains were lighter than before. Daniel sat in the corner, his face pale, eyes haunted. Where am I? Mara asked, every muscle trembling. A screen flickered on the wall. The watcher's voice filled the room, calm, omnipresent. Time is limited. Some secrets cannot stay hidden. You've been given a choice. Who do you save, and who do you sacrifice? Mara's heart pounded. She scanned the room. A cage hung above a pit. Inside, Daniel struggled, dangling by ropes. The exit key rested on a nearby table. Accessible, but taking it meant leaving Daniel to perish. Her mind raced. Lila had been right. The choices were never simple. Each step, each decision carried consequences heavier than she could imagine. Victor appeared at the doorway, hands raised in peace, eyes frantic. We can't split up. He's manipulating everything. I've infiltrated his operations. I can help. Trust felt impossible. Could Victor be counted on? Or was he playing the game too? Mara's instincts screamed. She moved toward Daniel, planning to free him. Lila tried to stop her. "He's bait! Don't be stupid!" The rope snapped, and Daniel plummeted into darkness. A scream tore from his throat, echoing off the walls. Mara lunged for him, but too late. Mara felt a needle prick her arm. Her vision blurred. A whisper slithered through her mind. "Sleep until it's your turn." Mara awoke in a new room. It was like a hospital ward, stark, cold, and silent. Her arms were restrained, but not painfully so. She tried to move, but her body felt heavy, as if weighed down by exhaustion and fear. The screens flickered to life. Faces appeared: Daniel, Victor, Lila, and then the Watcher. His face never fully revealed, only his voice, calm, omnipresent, and terrifying. "Time is running out. Every truth you hide will cost you more than you imagine." Mara's mind raced. Daniel, was he alive? Victor, what were his true motives? Lila, she had been hesitant, but what if her loyalty was a lie? Over the screens, she watched as their lives, words, and lies were dissected. The Watcher's analysis cut like a scalpel, exposing relationships, secrets, betrayals. Mara realized the horror of the game. Survival wasn't enough. Every interaction was under scrutiny. Then Lila confessed a secret that froze Mara's blood. "I've been working with him. I've been feeding him information all along." Betrayal burned. Mara's mind raced. Could she trust Victor now more than ever? He stepped forward, eyes serious. "I've infiltrated the Watcher's operations. I can get you out, but you have to trust me." Mara's gut twisted. Trust? After everything? But what choice did she have? The countdown began on the screens. 5 minutes until your final choice, or oblivion. Mara's pulse thundered. Every second stretched, threatening to snap her sanity. The room felt smaller, air heavier. She realized the Watcher didn't need to touch them physically. He had already trapped them psychologically. The screen flickered. Daniel appeared, smiling. But it was not the Daniel she knew. His eyes were empty, cold. He whispered, "Your choice ends here." Mara, Victor, and a conflicted Lila navigated underground tunnels that seemed to stretch endlessly. The walls were damp, slick with condensation, and the air smelled of mold and decay. Every step echoed, amplified by the oppressive silence. "We have to keep moving," Victor urged, voice tense. He's watching every move, every hesitation. One wrong step, and it's over. The tunnel split in multiple directions, each path filled with traps and hazards, pressure plates, spike pits, swinging blades. Mara's heart raced with every decision. As they pressed forward, clues began to unravel the true identity of the Watcher. Documents hidden in wall compartments revealed a familiar face, someone they all knew, thought dead. A former colleague of Daniel's, consumed by revenge against anyone who had betrayed him in the past. Sophie appeared suddenly, her presence both a shock and a relief. "I've been feeding you clues," she said, eyes wary. "But I was also his pawn. Until now." Mara's mind raced. Sophie's help could be the key to surviving, but how could she trust anyone at this point? Then came the moment that would change everything. They reached what seemed like an exit, but Daniel was waiting, alive, and different. His eyes were cold, calculating, a gun held steadily in his hands. "I can't let you all leave," he said, voice calm, almost eerily detached. Mara raised her hands, heart pounding. She realized survival meant outsmarting not just the Watcher, but Daniel too. and every second now could be their last. The building, or what remained of it, seemed to pulse with tension. Mara, Victor, and Sophie faced Daniel and the remnants of the Watcher's traps. Every hallway seemed alive, walls shifting, doors disappearing, shadows stalking them. "We need to split up," Daniel said, eyes sharp, hand tightening around the gun. "It's the only way." Mara shook her head. "No, we stick together. He wants to divide us." The Watcher's voice echoed over the speakers, omnipresent and chilling. "Your choices have consequences. Every betrayal will be punished." Trials intensified. Floors collapsed beneath them, corridors led to dead ends, and the building itself became a weapon. Mara realized the Watcher's power wasn't in physical traps. It was in manipulation, turning their own fears, desires, and secrets against them. In a tense confrontation, truths were laid bare. Daniel was both victim and manipulator, acting under the Watcher's influence, but also shaping events to his advantage. Alliances frayed. Lila, torn between loyalty and survival, revealed critical information about the tunnels, helping Mara navigate toward the final showdown. "You've underestimated us," Mara whispered, adrenaline surging. "We're not just pawns." Finally, they reached a room where shadows danced across walls, the air thick with tension. The Watcher appeared, mask off, revealing a face none of them expected. Familiar, close, trusted. "You never saw me coming, did you?" he said, calm and terrifying. Mara realized the entire game had been orchestrated not just for survival, but for revenge, personal, targeted, and devastating. Her choices in the next moments would determine who lived, who died, and who remained morally intact, if anyone could. The room was dark except for flickering lights that cast long shadows across cracked walls. The air smelled of smoke, sweat, and fear. Mara's heart pounded, her breath ragged as she scanned the chaos. The building, or what remained of it, groaned, trembling under the weight of their choices. Daniel stood at the far end, gun in hand, eyes cold, calculating. Victor and Mara crouched behind a shattered wall. Sophie's figure emerged from the shadows, tense but determined. Every step felt like a gamble with death. "We end this now," Mara whispered, gripping a pipe as a weapon. The Watcher appeared on multiple screens, mask off, familiar face. Not just someone they knew, someone they had trusted, someone who had betrayed them long ago. Every secret, every lie, every betrayal now played out like a symphony of vengeance. "You think survival matters?" The Watcher's voice boomed. "No one walks away unscathed. No one was innocent." Mara's mind raced. Lila's sacrifice flashed before her eyes, the friend who had briefly sided with her, then betrayed her, now gone to buy them time. Victor whispered urgently, "We expose him now. Live feed, everything he's done. He can't hide." The room erupted into chaos. Daniel fired shots at the ceiling, aiming to distract the Watcher's traps. Mara ducked, heart hammering, then sprinted toward the control panel Sophie had uncovered earlier. Fingers trembling, she hacked into the system, feeding the live feed to the entire building and beyond. "This ends!" she shouted. The Watcher's image flickered on screens worldwide, his identity revealed in real time. Panic spread across his hidden network, but Daniel wasn't finished. He lunged, a gun pointed at Mara. "I can't let you all leave," he hissed. Mara froze, but Victor tackled him, sending the weapon skidding across the floor. Mara grabbed Daniel's arm, twisting it until he dropped to the ground, panting. She looked up at the screens. The Watcher's eyes narrowed, furious, powerless now that his manipulations had been exposed. Sophie ran forward, grabbing Mara's shoulder. Go! Before the building collapses! The walls trembled violently, the ceiling groaning like the wails of trapped souls. Smoke and dust filled the air. Mara, Victor, and Sophie ran, debris crashing around them. Behind them, the remnants of the building collapsed in a cloud of rubble, burying the Watcher, his traps, and the horrors he had orchestrated. They stumbled into the night, rain soaking their clothes, lungs burning, hearts still racing. Silence fell over the city. It seemed over. But Mara's eyes caught a detail that froze her blood, a small envelope clutched in her hand, untouched by the chaos. The handwriting was familiar, jagged. She opened it. The game continues. Are you ready? Mara's chest tightened. The city looked the same, wet and glowing in neon reflections, but everything had changed. No one was innocent. Everyone had lied. Everyone had betrayed. And the game wasn't over. She looked at Victor and Sophie, knowing survival had come at a cost they could never repay. Lila was gone, Daniel's fate uncertain, and the psychological scars would never fade. Trust is a luxury we don't have, Sophie murmured, eyes scanning the darkness. Mara nodded. She clenched her fists, feeling a cold determination settle over her. The rain continued to fall, drumming a relentless rhythm on the streets. And somewhere, in the shadows, someone was watching, waiting. Just remember, in a world where no one is innocent, survival is only the beginning. Every secret, every lie, and every choice has consequences. So take a breath. Let the colors settle where they landed. You don't have to finish the page tonight. Some spaces are meant to stay open. Thank you for coloring with me and for listening. Wherever you are, I hope you feel just a bit less alone now. I'll be here when you're ready to come back. Until then, rest your eyes, quiet your thoughts, and keep the light nearby. Good night from Color and Tales.